విరిజల్లు శ్రోతలకి నా నమస్కారం. మీ కమల్ హాసన్.
విరిజల్లు రేడియో.
ఓలాలా మజా చేయాలా?
Here is what some customers have to say about their experience with Realtor Nagaraj Annaya.
Hi, this is Venkat.
This is Mahesh.
Hi, this is Ramohan.
We are the first time home buyers with Nagaraj.
I heard about Nagaraj on radio and then I approached him. Nagaraj Annaya has helped us in finding the home of our dreams. I really enjoyed working with Nagaraj.
Nagaraj helped us the whole process from beginning pre-qualified loan approval process to the offer accepted, and also he gave us the right contractor information for the home improvements.
I was able to get a good home at a good price in the location I'm looking for. I recommend Nagaraj Annaya.
I definitely recommend Nagaraj to any home buyers.
Nagaraj Annaya, the one-stop shop for all real estate needs. Call him today for free consultation at 408-805-4653 or visit nagarajhomes.com. You're listening to Real Estate Roundup. Real Estate Roundup with Realtor Nagaraj Annaya every Sunday from 12:30 p.m. to 1 p.m. PST on Bolly 92.3 FM.
Welcome Bay Area and welcome to Real Estate Roundup with our Nagaraj Annaya, our local realtor who will give you realty updates on Bay Area on your favorite Bolly 92.3 FM. If you have any questions regarding buying or selling a home, then it is the right time to call us on 408-912-5038, and we are live on YouTube on Nagaraj Annaya channel. So don't hesitate. If you have any questions, call us. Our number 408-912-5038, and we are on Bolly 92.3 FM. So welcome Nagaraj Garu.
Hello Bay Area. Happy Sunday. Hope you guys are having a great Sunday out there. Any questions on the real estate? We are live on Bolly 92.3 right now, right at, and even on a YouTube live also. Reason we do a YouTube live, if you have missed some part of this show, right? Like you can go back and listen to it. We are here to help you out anything on the real estate needs. Do reach out today. We are live. You can give the Fabi, you can give the number.
Yes, we are live on your favorite channel 92.3 FM Bolly, and the number you have to dial in is 408-912-5038. I'll tell one more time, 408-912-5038. So please call us if you have any questions. I know everyone has so many questions regarding our buying or selling homes. So last week we have Nagaraj Annaya has given you the information on how to start the buying and everything. So I think we will continue this. So yeah, to you.
Before starting, I think before starting on the buying steps, right? Let me give you a couple of updates. Okay, what's happening on the real estate? Recently, Remax paid a $55 million to settle down the lawsuit. There was a lawsuit in the East Coast for major brokerage on the major brokerage companies. The way the seller pays the compensation to the buyer agents. Okay, seller agent is not necessary to pay the buyer agent. Okay, but when there is a discussions between a seller and a seller agent, right? Like they need to be basically discuss what are the costs involved during a listing the house. Okay, so that needs to be clearly laid out on the terms. Basically, what are the costs? For example, if the seller pays around a 5% to a seller agent, right? In that 5%, what are the costs involved? Like, is it a 2.5%? Usually it goes to 2.5% for the buyer to a 2.5 buyer agent. 2.5% goes to a seller agent in that. Okay, sometimes in the seller agent, 2.5% includes the staging, sometimes includes the inspection. And it all comes down to the how you negotiate with the seller agent in that. Okay, seller agent is free to list the property even with a 0% commission for a buyer agent. Okay, there was no it is not necessary to even go with a 2.5%. What happens if they don't list it with a 2.5%? Only the pool of number of buyers coming down to buy a house, it might reduce it. So in that case, if it reduces it, then there would be a like discussion with a buyer and a buyer agent. The buyer would be compensating for the buyer agent for the duties he performed in. Recently, there was, well, I think not only the Remax, there's one more company also paid a 70, close to 86 million to settle down the loss. Since we are talking about the sellers right now, let me tell you one more thing. There was a couple of houses listed in Milpitas recently. The two houses was listed at a too high. One was like he's a kind of a very good realtor, lists with a does a more transactions in the Milpitas. No matter who is the realtor in the real estate, if you're listing too high, right, the number of offers you get or the number of basically at where it sells doesn't happen. For example, the house was listed for 2.8, they reduced it to 2.5. Right now it's listed in at a 2.4. So what does it mean? This is like whenever you're listing out any transaction or any listing, right, is always kind of in a new game for us. Okay, as a realtor and a seller, right, they need to work on what is a fair price you need to be listing in. It doesn't mean I'm a famous realtor, I'll be going and listing it for too high. It doesn't work out in the real estate like this. You need to work on the terms basically and do the assignments properly, homework properly. What is the fair price you need to be listing in? Too high in the market never works out on the price terms. Anybody has any questions on the real estate, do reach out. It's a 408-912-5038.
Yes, listeners. So I think Nagaraj Annaya garu is going on flow. So you are missing information if you're not calling us. So call us on 408-912-5038. So we are here to help you, and Nagaraj Annaya will give you answers for all the questions that you are having regarding your buying a house or selling a house. So Nagaraj garu, I would like to ask you, like, will you tell us the event that is going to happen on
let's talk about the
please?
November 19th event, which is happening. It's a Bay Area Real Estate Connect. It's a one-stop solution for all the real estate needs. I keep telling you, buying a house or a selling, right, it's all kind of interconnected. The green card, for example, a lot of immigrants comes in H1B or a F1B visas, right? Like, how do they like deal with kind of an visas related? So we have an experts talking about the green card, experts talking about the EB1A visa, experts talking about an EB5 visa, right? And remodeling. I think we had one caller and we lost it, but we'll continue. So experts talking about the remodeling, experts talking about the mortgage, experts talking about all the ADUs, because a lot of requirements right now is on like how to add an extra square footage. What do you do with, because there's a recent law on ADU additions, right? Like we talk about all that. It's a 4 hours event happening on at Sunnyvale on November 19th, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Do register at nagarajhomes.com. You will get a lot of valuable insights on the real estate. I always feel to invest in a real estate, you need to know all of these things. Because as we grow up, right, like for example, you start with a primary residence or a first time home buyer experience. How do you do the investments, right? Like how do you, like for example, how do you end up on what are the mortgage related needs, right? A lot of buyers like think, when we have one caller, let's
hello, welcome to the show. Who is on the call, please?
Hi, my name is Vijay.
Hi, Vijay.
Hi. So I have a question for you, Nagaraj. So we already own a house, so we are mostly interested in buying a land and then getting constructed. So how easy it is to get a land and build a house?
Yeah, thanks. Go ahead. Anything else, Vijay?
No. So I searched online and all, and I couldn't get much information, so I thought I'd put it short.
Yeah, thanks, Vijay. It's a great question. I think, see, land now, earlier, right? I can tell you like few years back, land was not a great investment. People were scared to buy it. Only reason is the loan part, right? Like the land, especially to buy a land, the loan mortgage companies are very few companies which gives in, and you need a lot of down payment to buy a land. If you have a cash, buying a land is easier, and the down payment terms also is like 20 to 30% sometimes the land thing. Recently one of my client did buy a land in a Campbell area. This was like the land they bought it for a 1.9, and to build a completely, the builder itself is going to build you a complete single family home. It costs you a $1 million for you. So they work on the all the kind of an from build to end, like they're working on, like they'll be working on like getting all the permits, all the plans and everything. But usually it takes for an 1 year if you're going with a trusted builders who do it for you. But even the problem with that is, like for example, you'll be paying an interest when during a construction phase also. There are a few lenders who does it, they're doing with a 20% down, and even the interest rates are also kind of a little bit higher for the construction loans.
Okay, sounds good. So how do we, where do we search land? So there are, I see land properties on Redfin, Zillow and all other places, but how do we know that it is suitable for a construction? Like if you buy it and, and you don't get permit, it's a waste, right?
So that's the
what is a proper channel to search?
See, that's where the realtors whom you're working with you, right? Like basically they can play the role for you. So they need to be getting, if there is any permits for that, like are they getting, like for example, they already have done any construction related, like for example, they already drawn the plans for that lot, right? And what are the zoning, everything. For example, some of them are planning to buy. Recently there was a change in the law where you can do a high-rise buildings, where you can do a high like kind of mid-density, right, or kind of a single family thing. So you need to be working with the city to understand what is the zoning of that lot right now. Okay, will they allow for the constructions? So usually the seller needs to disclose on that. Sometimes the seller says, I've not worked on that, you go figure it out. Okay. So once you put an offer, like basically you take for a 10 to 15 days of contingency. So in that contingency period, you go work with the city and you understand what are the zoning restrictions. Are there any restrictions to do it for you? Okay. So that's where you need to work with the city. Sometimes even with the city, with whom you're working on, it's very matters, right? Like sometimes you might not get all the information because they're also busy on the things, right? Like, but you need to drop, like basically always all the lots, right? They have the zoning already listed. What kind of zoning is that? In that kind of zoning, what you can do it, you need to understand, because the laws keep changing in recently. As I told you earlier, high densities are coming in, and because that's where the lot values also have gone up right now. A lot of investors are jumping in. Reason is the high density. They have identified these areas can be, for example, in the Santa Clara area, right? Some of the areas they have already identified these places you can do high density in.
Okay.
So that's what you need to work. Basically, land buying, you should be very careful what you're getting in.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you have any?
Thanks for the information, Nagaraj.
If you have any more questions, do please give me a call back after the show. We can talk in more detail, Vijay. Hopefully.
Sure, definitely. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thanks, Vijay. Thanks for calling.
Yeah. Bye. Have a good day.
Yeah.
Same to you. So,
okay. Listeners, if you have any questions like this, so please call us on 408-912-5038, and we are live on YouTube on Nagaraj Annaiya channel also. So yeah, we are here to answer your questions. Yeah, please carry on, Nagaraj.
Let me add more information on the land things also.
Yeah.
It was an interesting topic.
It's a good thing, right? Yeah, it's a new,
See, as I told you earlier, right, it was too tough to get. Reason a lot of folks are interested to buy the land and build up what they need is like they can build what is as per the requirements.
Mhm.
A lot of people are interested, I need to build a house with a vastu complaint,
Correct.
right? Or
Correct.
they want to add something better or do it better in the construction wise
Correct.
also. Only thing what you need to get into is, you, as I told you earlier, you need to look about on the mortgage related, how much and financial part related. If you're financially a little bit stronger,
Mhm.
then buying a land might work out, because it doesn't happen overnight, because
Right.
it drawing up the plans, permits and everything takes up a lot of time, and identifying the right contractor to build a house also is very important.
Correct.
Sometimes what happens is like you get a quote from a lot of contractors, but you end up with one contractor who gives you a lesser quote.
Correct.
Don't never do that. Okay,
Mhm.
because you need to be looking, will the contractor able to finish up the project for you? There are the contractors to get into into a contract, they give you very less bid price, but once they start building up the house, right, the cost goes up. Since the
Oh,
cost goes up, the contractor will not be able to perform the duty whatever he is agreed on to it. Okay,
okay.
that is where the again comes down negotiation part. Right.
Mhm.
So that is why you need to identify the contractor who is able to complete, not only on the lower price.
Okay.
Recently was like one of my client was wanted to add an extra square footage in the Santa Clara area. So he drew the plans, what, 2 years back during a COVID times. He says the house is still not completed.
Wow.
Okay, so that is why because he told me like whatever he was like getting into was like 135K for adding square footage, but during a COVID times, you know that all the prices went up.
Correct.
Right, so that is why when the contractor not able to perform, contractor is trying to negotiate some terms which doesn't happen. Now the even the homeowner can't identify a different person to complete the project also.
Yes.
So if you're limited in the resources means budget wise, getting into a land or a remodeling, you need to watch out, because there might be unexpected things which can come into it. If you're into a tight budget, don't get into a construction related.
Okay.
So one lot of questions nowadays is like, one more thing is like, I have a 1600 square footage. Should I buy a house for a 2500 square footage, newer house, or should I remodel my house to add another 900 square footage? But as I told you, one thing you need to watch out is the budget and the timing. If you are remodeling your current home to add any extra square footage, usually or a minimum it takes you is 1 year.
Okay, you have to be ready.
So the minimum for 1 year, you need to be staying away. You need to looking for the rental property for yourself so that you can stay from away from this current property, and you need to be working on this 1 year, maybe 3 or 4 months to drop the plans for you. Again, depends on the, see, even the remodeling, right, involves a different members in there. One is an architect, the civil engineer. The architect and the civil engineer initially need to work together to drop the plans for you.
Correct.
They will be submitting to the city and they basically get your plans approved. Once then you need to find a contractor to finish up the project for you. So the whatever the contractor gives you a price to build up doesn't usually include the finish up cost for you. The finish up cost is like basically all the, it might be kind of in your cabinets, all the lights and everything is an extra overhead, or like it's all depends on your taste what kind of materials you need, the finished up materials. So you need to basically shop for that also. That is the one way where basically you do it up everything for yourself, work with the different members, get your like kind of an approved for yourself, right? The second thing is you hire one contractor who does it for you everything.
Right.
Okay, but only thing is, since the contractor is doing everything for you, you need to look up for the price what it goes for that. right?
Mm-hmm.
Usually it is like it's in 1,000 square footage, you end up to a 300 to a 350 per square footage, and
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't include up the finished materials. Finished materials are like for like shopping your expensive bags,
Correct.
right? You can get it for $100. If you go for Louis Vuitton, you can end up buying for a $3,000
Yeah.
also. Even the faucets also are like that, right? Like
Mhm.
even the faucets, you can get it for $150 from Amazon.
Right.
You can go to a $10,000 on the
Correct.
it's kind of, I feel
The
that
brand.
it's a
Mm.
brand what you end up on the finished materials. I feel it's a similar to shopping for expensive bags for your wife.
That's right.
So it is never ending for that
Yeah.
price point on that. So
Correct.
that's why you need to look into this stuffs, especially the time frame, the cost factor. Based on that, you can decide, should I can add up the existing one or buy the second one. But only thing, the buying the second one is what you need to watch out for: the higher property taxes. For example, you might have bought a house for a 1 million. Now you end up buying for a 2.5 million house, right? So you, for the 2.5 million, you need to be paying a property tax right now, right? And that's a one thing. But you will not go through a hassle for a 1.5 years kind of going through to a remodeling.
Correct.
This is this second one is like basically a disadvantage when you end up buying for the house for yourself at 2.5 million.
Mhm.
So that's the pros and cons you can work out. Basically, you can put it in an Excel sheet, like work out like for if I'm going for a remodel, these are the things I go through it. And if I go and end up buying the house for myself, like for example, a bigger house for myself, how much I end up, right? The math might not work out always when you put it into Excel sheet, but only thing is a time thing. That's what needs to come into it. Is it, do I have a time to do the project for myself? Because you need to be doing hand holding for yourself here, or because you're dependent on the different persons also, right? You need to be paying for the expenses for them because they're going through the your project, right? That's what you need to doing on that. Listeners, like if you have any questions, do call us out. We are live on the Bali 92.3. It's you can call up on the 408-912-5038. And if you recently have done any remodeling, and if you want to share your experience, what it was like, right?
Yeah.
Do share out. Like it's an interesting topic. Everybody has a lot of things to share. You're welcome to call and share your views also on the remodeling stuff, so that we can discuss more on that.
Yeah.
Going back to the real estate connect, right? Which is happening on November 19th on Sunday, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Listeners, all these questions, whatever I was discussing in, right? We have the experts there would be answering all your questions on that day, November 19th, happening in a Shubham Banquet Hall from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m.
So we can freely ask all the questions, right, Nagaraj garu?
Yeah, there will be experts talking about 50. The format of the event is experts will be on the stage presenting their topics for 15 minutes. Right, all the experts will be talking about it, and there will be booths for each experts who will be available from morning 10 o'clock to 3 p.m.
Okay, that's great actually.
So you can walk in, you can talk to them. For example, you have any questions on the remodeling, you can talk to them. And if you have, we have one caller, let's take up.
Yeah. Hello, welcome to Real Estate Roundup. Who is on the call?
Hi, this is Ram from San Jose.
Hello, Ram. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Hi, Nagraj. I had a question for you regarding land purchase.
Yeah, hi, Ram. Thanks for calling in. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I see that you are discussing about land today, so I wanted to add a question over there.
Go ahead,
basically, one of my friends in Seattle bought a land from court proceedings. Basically, when they auction after, I think the property which are litigated or something like that, and got a very good deal, like a 7-acre plot for $1 million. Okay. So these kind of opportunities, do they arise in Bay Area? How do we explore those?
Hi, Ram. I think it's one of the great questions I think we had discussed also on this part. There was, I think recently I told you there was a 250 acres was for sale in Milipitas for 2.5 million, right? But if you have that much acreage also, right, what you need to be knowing is the zoning, what you can do with that land, right? Is it like all these going back to your 7 acres, right? All these 7 acres are usable for you, right? Two things you need to watch: usable and the zoning restrictions. If there's any zoning restrictions, it might not be usable for you at all. Maybe like in even the 250 acres, you can just build one single family home. We do get, coming back to your question, we do get the opportunities, only the price point, because there's one like 2,500 square footage land for sale in San Jose, which is for I think which is say for sale for 300K, right? So we do get that. Only thing is comes down to what is your reason to buy and what is your plans to do it.
Okay. Is there a possibility for us to kind of predict the zoning, or kind of like, can this be converted into this zone, that kind of thing? Are there any companies that can help us do that thing?
There are no companies. Basically, you need to be working with these cities, right, for rezoning it, and all city might, depending on the usage, right? Like, for example, as I told you earlier, also city are identifying a few places where they can build a high density building because of the income wise also, right? Like they want to have more houses, affordability houses coming in. They are identifying the few things, right? So you need to be working in, but it doesn't happen overnight for you. It's going to take for a few years, or depends on what kind of rezoning you're doing it. There is one more in a Sunnyvale. They had bought it for a single family residential, but they're working with the city to convert it into high density building usages from last 4 years. Right? You need to be.
It is taking over 4 years to get that done.
Yeah,
good
because
to know.
You need to go. You need to go.
Thank you, Nagaraj.
Thank you, Ram. Thanks. Yeah. So it's as I was mentioning, it's a time is the factor involved usually. For example, on the land stuff. If you're just going to do with this just a single family residential constructions, you're more than welcome to it. But again, for that one also is at 2 years. I was exploring the one project where the construction can happen not like instead of a 1 year, is there a way to do it for 7 months or 8 months?
Wow.
That was like kind of a fabricated homes. There's a prefab homes available. So that is like prefab homes. They usually give you with all the permits, basically all the drawings and everything, where you can go and submit to the city. You can get your plans approved also.
Okay.
If you're to make the construction faster, look at the prefab homes. Okay. So the prefab homes might be one of the options, but personally, I've not seen any homes, prefab homes. How does it look? But they claim that they've built a few homes in around California also. If you're interested, you can go and check it out. I can give you more information on the next show about this prefab homes. And I'm expecting one of the gentlemen to be also available on that day. On the November 19th, which is happening on the Bay Area Real Estate Connect. So they can talk about how does this prefab homes works usually. Okay. So that might be a greater way to reduce your construction time frame.
Okay, that will be good, right? Like instead of 1 year, 7 months.
And I think it's not 7-8 months. Only thing, the price factor. Whatever. I think we are running out of this show.
Yes,
thank you so much, listeners. Hope you guys have benefited from this. And any questions, do reach out and do sign up for November 19th Bay Area Real Estate Connect.
Yeah, thank you so much, Nagaraj Garu, for giving so much knowledge on buying the land and what needs to be taken care on buying the land. So listeners, we will be back on every Sunday at the same time, 12:30 PST to 1 PM on Real Estate Roundup. So if you have any questions, you can call directly Nagaraj Annaya Garu on the number 408-805-4663. So